Hello again. Today we're in downtown Syracuse and we're here at the old Waylock building, Erie Canel Museum. And it should be really interesting because there's a lecture about Lafayette from the American Revolution. You know, Lafayette. Yeah, that one. We're going to learn a little bit about Lafayette. Then we're going to go taste a beer. 200 years ago, Lafayette visited Syracuse on kind of a tour that he did 50 years after the American Revolution. Came here to check out the engineering marvel that was the Erie Canal, and it flowed through here. So he was through here. He stopped in Syracuse, and we're going to hear all about that visit today. And then we're going to head over to Talking Cursive Brewery, and they're releasing a new beer just past where that guy's honking his horn. It should be good. So we do have one place to check out before we go in. This is the Waylock building. We did a whole video where we walked through here and we showed most of this wonderful museum. Basically what this building did is it would park a barge in here and it would drain the water and weigh the cargo, and they would collect their toll. So this is where all the action is down here. Taste of Syracuse is one of the bigger festivals in the area. It would be absolutely impossible to convey how much energy is down here. Bands and everything. This is what we're looking for. Lafayette's tour. On June 9th, 1825, General Lafayette was welcomed at Williston's Mansion House, where he breakfasted and was addressed by Judge Foreman. Literally, we went down there just for that. It was just so crazy. Now we're gonna go into a quiet building and listen to a lecture for an hour.
It'll be nice.
Yeah, this was a huge deal when he was here. As a matter of fact, Fayetteville, New York, and Lafayette are just two towns named after this specific visit. That's why those towns have that name. Nice little block here. They have native plants instead of grass planted by the road. Here we are, Erie Canel Museum. I love this mural. Let me just say that again. I love this mural.
Favorite section. All nations welcome but Carrie.
I love this museum. Definitely worth a visit. This happens to be in the room where the gingerbread gallery usually is. Gentlemen at the front desks, and it's a good turnout today. I've never been in here without the gingerbread houses.
I know, me neither.
This is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it works really well for a lecture.
This lecture was given by Julien Isher, who is the geographer and historian, and also the founder and president of the Lafayette Trail. He was extremely knowledgeable about General Lafayette's life and what was happening in the world around him at the time. Lafayette toured every state during his visit and was greeted with excitement and kindness. It was interesting to hear how his visit was centered around strengthening ties between the states and how his story tied in with increasing support for the brand new Erie Canal.
We just got done with the lecture inside, and it was really interesting. The guy who did the lecture was really knowledgeable, and it's always worthwhile just checking out something that you might not know about, broaden your horizons, and learn something new. It's always good to learn something new. But now we're going to walk back down actually to that sign where we went earlier. They're going to talk about the history over there too. Then we're going to go over to Talking Cursive, try the beer.
We're going to take a brief tour here to the marker in Clinton Square, and specifically kind of talk about both the Syracuse that the Marquis de Lafayette would have seen when he arrived here in 1825, and a little about what developed after he showed up. Welcome to Hanover Square. As you can see, it's actually a triangle. That's because Genesee Street right here actually predates the Erie Canal, so Syracuse has had to build around it as it grew out from the Erie Canal. So none of the buildings that you see today in Syracuse are ones you would have seen when Lafayette came here. But here in Hanover Square, this was Syracuse's first major major commercial depot. These buildings over here are unique types of canal buildings called double enders because they have two ends. Again, they're not creative on the Erie Canal. You have one for pedestrians on this side, and then on the back you have essentially loading docks on the other side. Syracuse, however, is one of the quintessential canal boom towns. The city grows up quickly. What's the quickest material you can build buildings with? Wood, yes. My plant in the crowd, yes. There's one issue with wood, though. Yeah, it lights on fire pretty easy. So in 1834, pretty much all of Syracuse caught on fire, and all the buildings that Lafayette would have seen go with it. Those buildings over there are what's called the Phoenix Block. They are the first building to arise from the ashes of that fire.
I saw Chris Bianchi Friday night. I think
You heard the story.
I think it was also.
I think it's also. Oh, okay. Sure. Billy did a great job. But the Marquis de Lafayette was here, right? There used to be a hotel over across the street here, the Syracuse House, which is, I believe, where he had his breakfast. It was one of the most exquisite hotels that grows up along the banks of the canal. The Syracuse House would later, in 39, gain national prominence again for hosting, for a time, a woman by the name of Harriet Powell, an enslaved woman, one of the waiters at the Syracuse House, a man by the name of Thomas Leonard, who himself was formerly enslaved, helped her to escape up to Kingston, Ontario, and the Harriet Powell rescue was nationally famous abolition moment. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who we already talked about, briefly met Harriet Powell at her cousin Garrett Smith's house. This location where we're headed, the brewery, has historically been a brewery here in Syracuse for almost its entire history. The Davenport, Maury, and Kellogg Brewing Company was built over there sometime in the 1820s. I believe 1824 is when it opens up. There was also a distillery here in Syracuse. This whole block would eventually become the Greenways Brewing Complex. Turned out about 50,000 barrels of beer annually. Talking Cursive makes far less than that. But they have recreated an Albany Ale, which is modeled after another canal-side brewery, John Taylor and Sons, out in Albany, which was also founded in 1824 at the intersection of the canal and the Hudson River. So probably when Lafayette was in the capital region, he could have had their beer as well. So
2-row barley, 6-row barley, and flaked corn for the mash. It says then we use crystal hops from Cobblestone Hop Yard in Ontario, New York. This is similar to what would have been brewed along the canal at the time of the Marquis' visit. It's very refreshing. Maybe just because it's like warm outside and it's nice in here, but this is like really good.
That's really good. So a guy at the bar ordered one of these, and then all of a sudden we all walked in and started ordering it. So he was feeling a little like he asked, he asked, what is, okay, is there something significant about this? And our tour guide said, yeah. So now we get to go back into where the beer is made.
Very similar to what a cream ale would be now. Basically barley, then it would have been 2-row and 6-row. We used a little bit of 6-row, but it has a grainier taste, so we didn't add too much of that in. We used baked corn, and we used 100% New York State hops from Cobblestone Hop Yard in Ontario. There's crystal hops we used in. So 100% New York State ingredients.
I love those shirts. There we go. There's the prize.
Thanks for coming along with us, guys. I can't even tell you how nice it is to be able to see people who are super knowledgeable about their subject and incredibly passionate about their subject. And everyone else there was also incredibly passionate about it and just really enthusiastic. What a cool experience.
I tried to get this artistic view with the plant kind of in the foreground, but I think it's just blowing the plant.
Feeling like a tourist in your own city.
No, doesn't want. It would rather have this beautiful building behind me. Now you're fine. There we go. Now it knows where I am.
It's just a really neat experience. I don't know how to explain it. I loved every second of it.
Wherever you're driving, just turn around, go to the Erie Canal Museum, and if you can get to one of their programs, that was absolutely just so informative. Being able to walk through and go and just taste something that was brewed around the time that Lafayette was here. So I hope you enjoyed it. We had so much fun doing this video and just exploring our own city. Who knew, right? Any of this stuff? So if you get a chance to go out there and explore your own city, I think you should take that chance. So our goal this summer is to reach 2,000 subscribers. We love our subscribers, and we want you to be one too. If you're not subscribed already, we'd love to have you come along with us to see different things across New York State. We go other places too. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next road trip. Ta.
We will see you on our next road trip. Bye.
I'm having serious issues here. And then the cameras also. I'm glad you're there so I can pretend I'm talking to you.